Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you a book unhaul to book haul. Now you've probably seen these videos before, a lot of people have done them I think, where you unhaul some books and with that pile you basically go and buy new books. Now the way I've seen it is that people unhaul X amount of books and then buy X amount of books, but I'm gonna do it a little bit differently because I don't need so many new books. I decided to go the route that I took the amount of money that I made from the books I unhauled and I invested that money into new books. I've sold a couple of books, 22 to be precise, to a platform where they're resold to other people that are interested. And from these 22 books, I made around 50 euro. I don't have the exact amount, but it was pretty much 50 euro. And with that money, I bought 5 new books, which I want to discuss with you today. Now, one is a hardback and the other ones are paperback. So with 50 euro, that's about the amount of English books that you can get here. So yeah, let's get into the books. In case you're curious what I unhauled the whole Shadow Me series, and I also unhauled, for example, the Hunger Games prequel. I also unhauled the book The Silence of the Girls. So if you're interested in those books, I did an unhaul video, which I will link at the end so you can go and check it out. Now, the first book I got is for a reading project that I'm doing this year. I have 5 authors that I hadn't read before this year and that I wanted to finally try. And the last one of the 5 that I've chosen is Toni Morrison. And I decided to start with her book, Beloved, because I think this is kind of like a more creepy tale. At least the cover has a little bit of a creepy vibe, and I think this has something to do with like ghosts and with children and parents. So I have only a very vague idea of what this is about, but I think that is always the best way to go into books. And I have been meaning to read a Toni Morrison book for a very, very long time. So it is time to finally do that, and I will do it in the autumn time with Beloved. Then I decided to get a sequel to a book that I've read this year, and this one is Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri. This is the second book to Empire of Sands, and I am very intrigued to read this because this is kind of a sequel, but we're following the sister of the main character of the first book. So it's not exactly continuing on from that storyline, but we're switching to a different part of the world and we see what happens to the little sister. So I'm very intrigued to see what this book does. I think that many people like the first book better, but we'll see. I'm really intrigued to see this world again because the first book had like a super cool desert setting, which I love. But as I said, I think this book takes place in another part of the world. So it's interesting to see where we will go. And yeah, it's fantasy, it's interesting, it's a sequel, so I thought I'd pick it up. Then I decided to get my own copy of one of my favorite books that I've read this year, but I had it from the library and then a sequel came out, so I thought it was the perfect excuse to get both of them. So the book I've already read is Pet by Akweke Emezi, and this is, I think this was the second 5-star book I've read this year, but it was very early on in the year, in January, when I had a ton of library books checked out, and this one just blew me away. I absolutely loved it. I think that the themes and the way the story is told are so wonderful, and so yeah, I wanted to get my own copy because then Bitter came out, and Bitter is a prequel. So in this book we are following the mother of the main character of Pat, and so I'm very intrigued to see that because in Pat we already see that the art of the mom is playing a very big role, and you can also tell from this stunning cover that art will have something to do with this book. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how they both compare. Bitter is a little bit longer, but they're both like very short reads, and I was amazed how much of a punch Pat could what's the word? Pack a punch? I don't know. In this very short time. So yeah, I'm very happy that I finally have these books, because I've been eyeing them for a month, but I was always like, it doesn't make sense to buy them before I move, so now I have them. And then finally, another sequel to a book that I've read this year. I really enjoy when I read like a very long series to always have the next book at hand, so that I don't forget about continuing on with that series. And so I decided to get the second book in the Discworld. And the second one is The Light Fantastic, obviously by Terry Pratchett. And I love these editions, they're so stunning. The first book was light blue and this one now is orange. And in this one we are following again the adventures of Rincewind, I think. So yeah, we can see him here on the cover. Oh, he does look a little bit interesting. So yeah, we also have the turtle. I think these covers are just stunning, and yeah, I can't wait to get back into this world and follow along those adventures. So those were the 5 books that I got, but then I also got a book as a gift that I just quickly wanted to throw in here at the end, because yeah, I just wanted to mention it. A friend of mine gave me Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikatsu Kawaguchi, and yeah, I'm very intrigued to read this. It has a cat on the cover, so that's why I've always been intrigued, but this is kind of like a time travel book, but it sounds more like literary fiction. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard about this book before, so I'm not going into much detail here. I think the 3rd book of this has just been released, but I haven't really heard people talk about the 2nd book even. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this and I'm very glad that I own it now. So these were the books that found a new home here recently. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!